Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review for House from 1985. It is an older film, so there will be spoilers in this review, guys. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, then maybe hold off. However, if you don't mind spoilers, or if you've seen the movie, then continue watching. Big-time writer Roger Cobb inherits a house from his grandmother who recently passed away, and it's the same house where his son went missing, which caused him and his wife to split up. Before his aunt passed away, she did tell him a couple of times that the house was haunted, and that was the reason that his son was taken. So after she died, he decided to move into his aunt's house to maybe give him some inspiration for writing his new book about his life. But is he there for inspiration, or is he there to solve the mystery of his lost son? I love a good haunted house movie from the mid-80s, especially one that was directed by Steve Miner, who directed Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3. It also has the score from Harry Manfred Reedy, who also done Friday the 13th, and it was produced by Sean S. Cunningham, who also produced the Friday the 13th franchise. In addition to those guys, we also had Fred Dekker, who wrote this film. Fred Dekker is famous for directing Night of the Creeps and, of course, The Monster Squad.
We're the Monster Squad.
Roger's a former Vietnam soldier, and this is what his new book is going to be about. So when we watch the movie, he goes back and forward in his dreams about what happened in Vietnam, and that helps him and us realise what his book's going to be about. The film doesn't waste time in showing Roger that the house is definitely haunted because he sees things straight away, and I love how he immediately investigates that. His experiences in Vietnam definitely took front and centre, especially for the finale of the film, because he had a friend called Ben, or they call him Big Ben, that he didn't kill Ben when Ben asked him to, and then because of that, the Vietnam soldiers took him away and most likely tortured him, so Ben held that against him. So Ben uses the power of the haunted house to come back and kill Roger. But we also find out that Ben was also the one that took Roger's son away from him a couple of years ago, and now he's back to finish off Roger. I like the classic endings to these films where you defeat the bad guy, you get your son back, your ex-wife comes to see that you've got your son who was lost for all these years, and then hopefully they can live happily ever after. We get some amazing montage moments with Roger in this film, and you get the montage moments that you always get in these 80s films, and the beauty of House is it's not just scary because it is scary at times. It's also really funny as well, and that helps with his neighbour played by George Wendt.
Wouldn't be surprised if someone just got fed up and offed her, you know what I mean?
She was my aunt.
Heart of gold, though.
The dialogue is ahead of its time. I think everybody played a really good role in this film, especially Roger. And Roger's one of those characters where he's really infectious because you feel for him because he's lost his wife, he can't find his son, and he's obviously a Vietnam soldier. But at the same time, because he's going on this journey within the house and trying to investigate what's happening, it's a bit of an adventure for him as well as us. The score by Harry Manfred Reedy was fantastic. It reminds us, obviously, of Friday the 13th because it's almost identical sometimes to Friday the 13th, but when you just listen to the score all the way throughout the film, it just adds to the nostalgia for the film as well. And not just that, the music in it is great as well. The songs that they play in this film is songs that I still play to this day.
This is dedicated to the one I love.
The look and the feel of the movie is great, of course, but the house is something that is absolutely stunning and beautiful. Ever since I saw the film, I've always wanted to go to America and see that house. Maybe one day I'll get close to it so I can go and visit the house because it's just absolutely amazing. This isn't a violent or bloody film. I don't think you see much, if any, blood in this movie, but it still had to use a lot of practical effects with all the monsters that they had and the hand and stuff like that. And when you watch it today, it's almost 40 years old, but when you watch it now, it's a dated film, but it's a really nicely looking dated movie. And when you look at the monsters within it, you can laugh because they are funny looking. But when you see these monsters pop up and appear, you get a fright to begin with. I was scared of it when I was a kid, and I'm sure young kids today would maybe watch it for the first time and be a little scared. But after a couple of watches or a few years, you can look back on it with fondness. One thing I really do appreciate, and I think, again, it's ahead of its time, is the deep undertones for mental illness, especially in males. When you look at Roger, he has an ex-wife now. He split up with his wife because they lost their son. They don't know where their son went. And he's also a Vietnam soldier as well. So there's a few things that's already happened to this man in his life that can cause a bit of PTSD. PTSD was used in a lot of films in the 80s because it was just not long after Vietnam War, and they really used that to really elevate his character in this movie. It also shows that it can affect anybody regardless of how famous they are, and in Roger's case, he was a famous writer, but he was a famous writer on paper, but he was still a human being. The amazing thing about House is I can put House on any time during the year and I absolutely love it. There's not a time where I get bored of watching this movie. I'll always watch it around Halloween time, but I thought I'd watch it now because it's a fantastic movie, something that I know a lot of people haven't seen still, so hopefully with this review, maybe for those of you who haven't seen it, this review will make you want to watch it. Overall though guys, absolutely love it. I can't recommend this movie enough. One of the best mid-80s horror comedies that there is out there. So if you haven't seen the movie, guys, definitely watch it. If you have seen it or you want to see it, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat?
Someone's in the back seat!